Good morning, everybody. I'm starting the stream 4 minutes late. My apologies. My microphone out of nowhere, or it's really my RC300, decided that it just did not want to send audio to my computer. Therefore, I didn't have a microphone. I'm all fixed. However, the audio may not be as high quality as you're used to. So, today we're going to be memorizing the heck out of our fretboard. Now, before we get started, I just kind of want to give you a little bit of a lead in as to what this series is going to be about and, kind of why I'm doing it. So, first and foremost, there are a lot of YouTube quote unquote gurus out there that tell you, there's this system to memorize your fretboard, there's that system to memorize your fretboard. And really, I think they're all off. They're very far off the mark. And the reason being is it's actually not the system that you need to memorize the fretboard. You actually need the music theory to memorize it. And then you need to know where your notes are and then just a few basic shapes. So if you're one of those persons that's kind of caught up on what system to use before anything else, then stop. We're going to go through this. This is going to be a 2 hour live session, guys, and we're going to go through and we're going to memorize our fretboard based off of exactly what's going on the staff, which helps you to really formalize it. And then we're going to, over time, talk about how to memorize it using kind of theoretical systems, all right? So real quick, before we get started, I'm going to run you through just how notation works. Let me know if the stream is looking good down in the chat, if you can hear me just fine and all of that. But just a couple quick announcements. One, I am going to be offering some one-on-one sessions that you can grab for absolutely for free. Now, only one per person. It's not like you're going to get regular lessons from me for free, but if you want to ask me a question, I'm going to sit down for 30 minutes for the first 25 people that claim them. So you can check that out in the link below. The point of this, guys, is I'm trying to get people to take Skype lessons from me. So I am going to ask you to sign up for lessons. Don't expect a total freebie out of this one, but I will give you the first 30 minutes for free. Next, if you enter the coupon code April2 at my website while this live stream is going, you'll get 10% off of any of the books that you buy. So that's really, really great. So there's the business end of things, and folks don't really like me talking about that too much, so let's move on to the fretboard memorization. So the way that I'm going to be doing this is we're going to be going through little sections of the fretboard at once, and the whole point of this exercise today is to memorize all of the natural notes on the fretboard. So by natural notes, I mean no sharps, no flats. We'll put in sharps and flats another time. But I want everybody to know all of the notes on the fretboard, and I want them to be able to find other notes based off of that. But the first thing we need to know is knowing all of the notes. And the best place to start is memorizing all of the natural notes, and we will be using notation to get us there. So if you are new to this channel, subscribe, but a couple things to be aware of. I do not work off of tab. If you want to work off of tab, you're going to have to go elsewhere on YouTube. I don't do it. I don't think it's a good idea. So I am providing the alternative of knowing notation very, very well. And people that do use guitar notation more than tab know the benefits of notation. And notation is something that will tell you more or less what it is you need to create on your guitar, not exactly just how to do it. Now, how to do it is something for you to know based off of your musicianship and skill. So let's get started with how the staff itself works. Now, a lot of you are probably familiar with the Every Good Boy Does Fine and the FACE way of things. I'm a bit of a contrarian teacher. I think that basically if a music teacher shows you that, then that is strike 1 out of 3. If they tell you that's the way to go, that's strike 1 out of 3. Give them 3 strikes and give them the pink slip. The reason being is it detaches the learner from what's actually going on. And I've actually had a few students that have been playing longer than I've been alive. They come in and they say, all right, I can't understand notation. It doesn't make sense to me. And then I show them like how it works, and they think, oh, I just memorized the acronym and I didn't even see that it worked that way. So there's only one thing you need to memorize, guys, and then you know how to get around from there. And that's that this middle line here that you see on the screen is B. That is the note B. Now, each time you go up or down on the staff, like so, you're going to be moving a letter forward in the alphabet. So if I go down here to C, and don't worry about why I know that's C yet, and I'm going to grab one of my circles here. I like to do some live graphics. Many of you probably know this by now. So we're going to C here, right? So up there next to the circle, that's our chromatic alphabet. Now we're starting on C, and if we move up one from this ledger line here, we get D. So that gives us just one letter forward in the alphabet, not necessarily to the next sharp or flat or anything like that. It's just the next letter forward. So this would be E, right? E. And then after that, we have F. Right? After that, we have G. Now, you can see that this is a very logical thing. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that super chat, man. We go up to A next. After that, we have that middle line, which, again, is the only thing that you really need to memorize. You only really need to memorize the middle line, which is B. And if you know that middle line, then you can count to each and every note outside of that. So if we go up next, we get C. We're back at C here, right? So one more thing to quickly point out before we start finding notes on the fretboard is that we have our musical alphabet, and we have the chromatic alphabet here, right? So we're going to be writing in our sharps and flats as we need them and as we see them. If there are no sharps and flats, we're just talking about the natural notes. So A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Now keep in mind, B and C are a half step apart, and E and F are a half step apart. Everything else is a full step apart. Everything else. So what we're going to do is we're going to break the guitar down into a number of positions as well as strings. And then I'm going to spend some time quizzing you guys on this stuff. Now, bear with me as we go. I'm kind of going between my own screen and the chat screen. My desk is only so big, so I don't have two monitors, which would make it easier, but I'll get there. So let's start by just doing first position on the B string. And I'm going to show you 3 notes, and I'm also going to show you how the chromatic alphabet lays itself out on the fretboard. So real quick, Arakai asks, so basically I need to know music theory to be good at playing guitar. Yes, there are people out there that are an exception to the rule. There are people out there that are really good and they don't know music theory, but oftentimes they can't cross styles, right? And in a way, they kind of naturally know music theory. But music theory is going to help you so much, it's completely unmeasurable. It's just not even, it's not even a question anymore. You do need to know music theory if you really want to go as far as you possibly can on this instrument. Okay, guys, so I'm going to switch back to my staff paper screen here so that I can start quizzing this. So the very first note that we're learning is this middle line, and that's our open B. Now, be aware that these notes, you can find these notes in multiple places on the fretboard. So we're going to go over that as we go through this. I mean, again, this is going to be a 2-hour live stream. So open B is the first place to start, but you can also find this on the 4th fret of the G and up here on the 9th fret of the D and so forth. So we're going to learn all of those individually, but for now we're sticking to first position and just the B string. Now I'm going to move my circle over here to B. That's our open string, right? Now if we move forward 1 on the staff, because we can't move backwards from an open string, right? Because you'd have to actually tune the string down. And we're not going to be leaving the B string here for a few minutes. That brings us to the next letter forward, C. Now, this is where the chromatic alphabet really is very important. So let me take a sip of my coffee. So the chromatic alphabet's very important here because it's going to tell you how many frets to be using, right? So each fret to the next is what's called a half step. And each little note to the next here, not letter to the next, but note, right, is a half step. So that's our chromatic alphabet. It's listed in what are called half steps. So B is the open string. A half step up from there is C. That'll be your first position, C, right? So it's just a half step. But you'll see that from C to D here, we have a whole step. So that would be 2 frets forward. So our D on the staff paper looks like this. There's our D for B. So we have open B, C, and D. Now, what I'm going to be doing with this video is I'm going to add in a little bit at a time. But I don't think it's smart to move forward until you guys quiz this a little bit. So what we're going to do is I'm going to say, all right, you've got roughly 5 to 10 seconds to find this note. I'm going to check the chat as I switch this around. You have roughly 5 to 10 seconds to find this note, and then I'm going to move on to the very next note. And we're going to quiz this, probably 10 notes or so, and then I'm going to add in the high E string next, and we'll start to memorize that. So let me know what your answer is. What fret on the B string are we going to play this note? Down in the chat. The thing that really makes this very, very valuable, guys, is the fact that you guys can interact with me and you guys can answer as we go along. So hopefully you have your guitar out and we're all going along with this together. Also, keep in mind, if you want, you can join my Fretboard Dojo and join the private live streams, which we're doing Tuesdays and Thursdays. So the answer to this one, this is C on the first fret of the B. So what about this note? Let me know down in the chat. In about 5 seconds, I'm going to tell you the answer. What fret are we playing this on the B string? 3rd fret of the B for D. All right, what note do we have here? We've got about 5 seconds. I want you guys to go through this mentally. We're just going to cover it for a few minutes and then move and add in the high E string. This is our open B. What about this note, guys? We're gonna double up a little bit. I believe in repetition. So we have D, 3rd fret of the B. All right, guys, what do we have here? What do we have here? C, 1st fret of the B. All right, we're gonna do 3 more. We're gonna go through the ones on the B again. What do we have here, guys? This will get more complicated as we go, but I like to start with a very simple amount of material. Of course, we've got 2 hours here, guys. All right, this is D, 3rd fret of the B. What do we have here? This is open B. And next, C, 1st fret of the B. So the way this series is going to work, guys, is I'm starting with just the notes that we're memorizing, right? And then we're going to go into chords and intervals and stuff like that, but it's all useless without knowing the notes first. Good morning, Aruna. Good morning, James. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. All right, guys, so we're going to move on to the open E now. So we're going to keep the B string. So, of course, we have B, C, D. Now, real quick, just so you understand why things overlap on the guitar. If we go up here to E, we get this E. Now, of course, if we use the logic from before, that's a 3rd fret and it brings us to the 5th fret, right? But we're not leaving first position. So the open E is actually the note we're looking for here. And my guitars may be a little out of tune. It's a little rushed getting into the live stream. But we're going to be using the open E, but just keep in mind that this E and that E are the same E. And sometimes you need to play one and sometimes you need to play the other. So just a heads up. But this is E, open high E. And after that, we get a half step forward, which is F. We have our F here, which is going to be the 1st fret. And after that, we get G, 3rd fret of the high E, which is a whole step up. So we go a whole step from the 1st fret. So now what I'm going to do, guys, is now that we've looked at the high E string, I'm going to quiz you on it. So and I'm going to also include the B string too. So let's start with this one. Let me know what string and what fret we're playing this on. We're not leaving the first position yet. Again, this is going to be a 2-hour-long live stream, guys. I hope my internet doesn't go down or anything, but it's going to be a 2-hour-long live stream. I'm doing this for a few reasons. I want everybody to be able to memorize their fretboard. And of course, I want you guys to check out musicandguitarlessons.com and perhaps join my dojo. You can also claim a free lesson with me down in the link. I'm going to take that link out of the video description roughly 30 minutes after the live stream is done. So you guys better and I'm not going to be doing an unlimited amount of private sessions with people. So, all right, we have the note F, which is first fret of the high E. So let's move on to the next question. What do we have? What string and what fret? What string and what fret, guys? Let us know down in the chat. The fun part about all this stuff is I'm trying to make some of the very first YouTube interactive guitar lessons, and I think especially for fretboard memorization, it's going to be very useful. Very useful. This is D, third fret of the B. All right, what do we have here, guys? Let me know down in the chat. I'm kind of going between windows here to see what people are saying. Larry asked what for. Very good point, Larry. So whenever I say any sort of position, first position is where your index is located on the first fret, and then second position is second fret, third position is third fret. So whenever you hear position numbers, that just means where is your index finger, which fret. So Aruna asks, how do we know which one's used? We're going to get to that, Aruna. Sometimes, for example, I would use this open E if I needed this, or this E note if I needed this C, right? But I might use the open E if I need those two. So it just depends. Open high E, anybody that said open high E is correct. Let's keep moving. So what do we have here, guys? What string and what fret number for this here note? This here is a G, which is the third fret of the high E. All right, guys, let's keep moving. What note do we have here? What note do we have here? And anybody that's confused, like, let's just stick with the quiz. I promise you, the more that you read music, the more that you start to memorize your fretboard. And if you make it through this entire 2-hour session, you're going to know it a lot better. Trust me. So we have C, first fret of the B here. What do we have here, guys? What note and where are we going to play it? We're going to do 3 more answers, and then we're going to add in the G string for first position, which means your index is aligned with the index, with the first fret here. All right, guys, here we have an open B. I'm actually take this circle down while we're not using it so I don't confuse anyone. All right, guys, what do we have here? What do we have here? 2 more questions. 2 more questions, and then we're going to add in the G string. This one here, let us know down in the chat. It's first fret of the E. That's the note F. Give us a couple pieces of information. Of course, what note is it? What fret are we going to play it? What string are we going to play it on? All right, guys. Last question before we add in the open G string, and it's note A. What do we have here? What string number and what fret number? I'm going to try and check the questions as often as I can, guys. This is the first time I'm doing a long live stream like this, so please bear with me. I'm a learner myself on the live streaming. I'm still learning how to do it really well. All right, guys, we have the note G, which is the third fret of the high E. So now we're going to add in the open G string, right? So the first thing you might notice is like, hey, that's another G. We just had a G up here. Yeah, so we have multiple octaves, right? So what happens with the octaves, and the reason that we have octaves in the first place is that the actual frequencies of the notes, their ratio is either twice what we just had or half of what we just had. And they tend to sound like the same note-ish, except the pitch is higher or lower. But there's no kind of quality to it because the sine wave crosses the x-axis at the same time between the two types of notes. So that's a little bit of a complicated idea, but just understand that we have multiple octaves, right? So this here is our open G string, right? We're going to play that as a G. It's open G. And then after that, we can go up to A, which is a whole step up from G. So that's going to, of course, bring us to the second fret here. So we have G to A, right? G to A. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and completely randomly, what note are we going to choose? All right. Guys, let me know what this note is and where you're going to play it in the first position. Excuse me if I have to kind of move around a little bit. Sometimes I cross my leg and my foot goes totally asleep. So we have an open B here. This is the open B string. All right, what do we have here, guys? We're going to do 10 to 12 questions on this one and then move forward. What do we have here? Let us know down in the chat. The more interactive it is, the better it is for you guys and the better it is for me because I love seeing people chat. And look at all that. That's some great activity. Thank you guys. Personally, thank you for participating like that. It makes me very happy. So we have open G here, open G. Next, what do we have here? What do we have here? You guys let me know what note it is, what string you're going to play it on, and what fret you're going to find it on. By the way, guys, I've had a lot of people ask me about memorization systems. This is the best memorization system. Is you just got to know where the notes are and you can relate it to the staff. And we're going to actually do the next episode. I'm going to go the other way around. I'm going to have a picture of the fretboard up and I'm going to put dots on the fretboard. I'm going to have you guys write it down on staff paper. If you need to download staff paper, I got you. There's a link down there. You can download a blank staff paper template. And I've even, for some of my students that need bigger staff, I've got a large version too. Okay, guys, this is A, second fret of the G. Second fret of the G. All right, so let's pick another note here. I'm giving you guys a few moments to answer the questions. What note do we have here and where are we going to play it? Also, guys, give this video a thumbs up. That's how I'm gauging what videos I'm going to keep doing and which ones I'm not going to do. And it seems like people are liking this one, so hit that thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up. All right, guys, this is a D. Third fret of the B, D. Let me take that circle down so I don't get anybody accidentally confused. All right. Let us know what note we're going to hit. All right. What note do we have here, guys? What note do we have here? What is it? What string are you going to play it on? And what fret are you going to play it on? All right. This is an F. First fret of the high E. First fret of the high E. All right. What do we have here, guys? What note do we have here? This is third fret of the high E, G. Of course, try to play this as you're going along, guys. And take your time if you need. I'm going to be going through this fairly quickly, but after the stream is done, it's saved on my channel, and you can go through this as many times as you like. So here we go. What do we have here? What note is this? What string are you going to play it on? And what fret are you going to play it on? Let us know down in the chat, of course, after you've found it on your own guitar. This is A, second fret of the G. All right, guys, what do we have here? We're doing G, B, and high E strings in first position for now. Of course, this is going to be a 2-hour stream, so we've got plenty of time to go all the way up the neck. All right, guys, C. First fret of the B. Okay, last question before we add in the D string. Here we go. What note are we going to get? What note do we have here, guys? Let us know down in the chat, and then we're going to add in the D string. I'm going to give you guys just a couple moments to go. So Aruna's asking what string we're going to be using. So first off, the best place to start is saying, so if we have an E, that's of course our high E string right there, right? And then F and G are above that. Then we have B, which is our open B, and then we have C and D above that, and then G, open G with A. Now we're going to move up into further positions so that we're going to have to decide strings up there, but just bear with it for now and try to answer these as we go. And I promise you, if you try to answer them all, you're going to do very, very well. This is our open high E here. All right, guys, so we're going to add in our D string. The important thing about this is that you're seeing that we're actually getting a complete alphabet, right? So we went G all the way up to another G. So this is our D string. Whenever you see this D, it's our open D, at least for now. We're gonna get more notes as we go. But this is our open D. And then after that, we're gonna be moving up to E. Oopsies, wrong button. Oop, there we go. So we got E next, right? And this is a whole step up. So we're getting E, which is second fret of the D right there. Second fret of the D. After that, we're going to be moving up to F, which is just a half step up, right? So that is our third fret of the D. So just to really quick to review, we have open D here, and then we have second fret of the D, which is our E, and then we have third fret of the D, which is our F, right? So let's go ahead and start quizzing these. Now we've got a little bit more wiggle room on the staff. I'm trying to, there we go. What do we have here, guys? Let me know what the note is, what fret you're going to play it on, and which string that fret is on. I'll give you guys just a couple moments. This one is F, third fret of the D. Third fret of the D. What do we have here, guys? Let us know what note it is and where you're going to play it when we are in first position here. Where are we going to play this in first position? And I actually may need to zoom out just a little bit on my staff paper. Let me know if it's too small for you guys to see. One of the wonderful things about live streaming is the fact that you guys can let me know if anything's going wrong. Okay, guys, we have C, first fret of the B here. After this question set, I'm going to look at the chat to see if there are any questions. I'll do my best to answer them all. All right, what do we have here, guys? I'm going to give you a couple of moments. What string, what fret, if any fret, hint, hint, are we going to play this on? This one is an open D. This is our open D string. All right, guys, what do we have here? What note is this, and where are we going to play it in the first position? Where are we going to play this in the first position? Okay, guys, in the first position, this is our open high E. What do we have here? What do we have here? Give you a hint, this is the same letter, but you're not going to play it in the same spot. This one, since it's very close to the D, right, is E, second fret of the D. And one of the important things to realize, guys, is if the notes are close together on the staff, they're close together in pitch, right? So if you see this E, of course it's not going to be, the open high E, because the open D is very near it, right? So let's keep moving. Let's keep moving. We're going to... All right, what note do we have here? And where are we going to play it in first position? Kind of readjust my leg for a second. It's going to be a long live stream, so I've got to make sure I get my circulation flowing correctly. I'm sure you all understand that. Okay, guys, this is D, third fret of the B. Third fret of the B here. That is our D. All right, so let's keep moving forward. What do we have here, guys? Let us know down in the chat what fret, what string number are we talking about. Again, this is going to be a 2-hour session. We're going all over the fretboard. We're almost done with implementing the entire first position, and then we're going to move along. We're going to move along. Okay, this is G, third fret of the high E. G, third fret of the high E. All right, guys, let's keep moving. What note do we have here, and where are we going to play it in first position? What note do we have, and where are we going to play it? So Aruna asked, do the staff lines play any role in recognizing the fret number? Not really, no. One thing about notation is you need to forget everything you know about tab. Tab is no longer, just don't even work off a tab anymore. It's not a good way to go. And it also kind of screws it up in your mind, because you start to think, oh, this is going to tell me where to play it. The difference between tab and notation is tab is like where to play it and how to play it, and notation tells you what it is. And then you use your musicianship to produce what it is. Okay, this is A, second fret of the G. A, second fret of the G. Okay, guys, we're going to keep moving. We're going to add in our open A string now. I'm probably going to have to zoom out a little bit more once we get to our open low E. We're not there quite yet. So we have open A here. Let's bring our circle back on to the screen. I appreciate everyone's patience as I'm fumbling with the graphics. Okay, so we have A. Now, by following the same logic, we move up on the staff, right? That's forward one letter in the alphabet to B, which gives us a whole step here, which is going to give us the second fret of our A string. Second fret of our A string here, guys. Next, what we're doing is we're moving another letter forward to the C, right? And we're going to be getting a half step up from there. So that brings us to the third fret. The third fret right there, guys. So let's quiz this now. We're going to add in one string at a time. I'm a fan of during practice, you got to get repetition. And I'm going to show you guys on Friday a really cool system that I use to practice to make sure I get the right amount of repetition on everything. So let's see, what are we going to find? What do we have here, guys? Oh, wait, that was the last one that we did. Let's not do that one. Let's do this one. All right, guys, what note is this and where are we going to play it? What note is this and where are we going to play it? This is C, which we're going to play on the 3rd fret of our A string. C, 3rd fret of our A string. All right, guys, move up a little. What note do we have here? And where are we going to play it? This, of course, since you're putting the answer in the chat, this is our open G string. All right, let's go back downwards. What do we have here, guys? What do we have here? This is our open A string. Good. For anybody that answered it correctly, I don't have the chat up on the screen right now, so I can't call anybody out. But please continue to put those answers down in there, because the thing that makes this a lot of fun is how interactive it is. All right, guys, what do we have here? What note is this? Where are we going to play it in the first position? This, of course, is our G, 3rd fret of the high E. All right, guys, what do we have here? What do we have here? We have the note B, 2nd fret of our A. What do we have here, guys? Let us know down in the chat. I'm going to take a look at the chat to see how everybody's doing. It looks like everybody's having a good time. Good. I'm glad you guys are hanging out and memorizing the fretboard. Through following this channel, the biggest thing about this channel is I want to make a lot of great musicians. One of the things that really upsets me is the fact that the musicianship for a lot of guitarists is so low. I saw one of the most popular YouTube channels today. I kind of look at everybody else's lessons just to see, kind of what's working for people and stuff. And one of the guys said in 6/8 you have 6 beats per measure, and I think, you know what, this guy's got like 500,000 subscribers and he's telling people wrong information. In 6/8 there's 2 beats per measure broken into triplets. So guys, you got to be really careful with the education here. So my goal on this channel is to make a lot of really great musicians that just so happen to play guitar. All right, guys, this is a D, 3rd fret of our B string. 3rd fret of our B string. All right, what do we have here? What note do we have here? Let us know down in the chat. This is definitely a worthwhile exercise. And we've got C, 1st fret of the B. One of the cool things too, guys, is that, tell me what this is. One of the cool things too is that, I do fretboard memorization in some form every day, except Saturday and Sunday. But it's a good thing to just be in the habit of, because sometimes you retune your guitar and then you have to be quick at figuring things out, right? I retune my guitar all the time. Okay, guys, here we go. This is open D. Let's do 2 more. Then we're going to add in the low E string, and that'll cover all the strings in first position. We're going to do a nice long quiz on that. And then we're going to move up into the 5th position. So what note do we have here? Where are we going to play it? This, of course, is F, 1st fret of our high E. Let me go ahead and readjust my leg a little bit while I zoom out of our staff just a bit so that we have enough room to see where low E is. So, of course, if you're having trouble recognizing the notes, this is how you find them. You go, okay, I know the middle line is B, so before that is A, G, F, E, D, C, B, A, before A, G, F, E. And this is our low open E. So we have low open E here, guys. Let me pull up my circle so that we can take a look and see what fret we're on. So we have low open E. And then after that, we're going to go forward 1 letter in the alphabet. Now, again, E and F are a half step apart. A half step apart here, guys. And that means you're on the 1st fret, right? After that, we have G. We have G. Next letter forward in the alphabet, which is a whole step up, giving us 3rd fret of the low E. So, real quick, I'm going to put a note on the screen, and let's see if you guys can tell me where it's at. Let's do that one. All right, guys. What note do we have here? What string and what fret? Those are the big questions. What note, what string, and what fret? I'm going to take a look at the chat as we go along. This is F, 3rd fret of the D string. Bing. All right. We're going to move to what note do we have here? And where do we play it? I'll give you a hint. This is on the low E string. But what note is it? As we get really low on these notes, it's tough. And I think we're going to do the first position quiz for about 5 to 10 minutes. So we'll have plenty of time to get it in. This is G, 3rd fret of the low E. Guys, by the way, don't be shy about pausing the video if I'm going a little too fast. Pause it and find it. You can still put your answers in the chat. You won't be totally up to date, but I think I go through this stuff quick enough so that we can get enough material in. But trust me when I say it took me a long time to memorize this stuff. Like, it took me a long time. So don't feel bad if it's taken you a little while too. So what do we have here? This is our low E, low open E. Let's move up a little bit. Let's go from our lowest note so far to our highest note so far. And while you guys are figuring that out, I'm going to check the chat real quick. All right, so here we have a G, 3rd fret of the high E, guys. 3rd fret of the high E. Okay, let's ask the world what else we need. All right, guys, what do we have here? What do we have here? This is E, 2nd fret of the D. Don't worry if you guys get some of these answers wrong, by the way, guys. I remember a couple of guitar lessons I had with my favorite teacher, Ben Cantu. And a few times he was like, hey, there's a wrong note right there. You're playing the wrong note. So trust me, we all make mistakes on finding notes on the fretboard. So don't get frustrated with yourself. That's the #1 rule with my personal students is don't get frustrated with yourself. This is a learning process. All right, guys, we have A, 2nd fret of the G. What do we have here, guys? What do we have here? I'm going to go a little quicker now on these questions so that we can get more repetition. This is D, 3rd fret of the B. All right, let's keep moving. If I'm moving too quickly, hit pause, find it, and then make sure that you hear my answer and then move forward. All right, guys, what do we have here? What string, what fret? F, 1st fret of the low E. All right, guys, what do we have here? What do we have here? This is our open G. Open G. All right, guys. What do we have here? Hint, it's the lowest note that we have on our entire instrument. This is the lowest note that we have. Low E. And actually, here's a cool piece of trivia. The guitar is notated as a transposing instrument. It transposes at the octave, though, so it doesn't change key. Actually, the note that you're hearing when you play it is an octave lower than what's actually written, and I don't know, why that really is for the guitar. It's kind of weird, but we should be playing out of bass clef, actually. So we have F here, F natural, 1st fret of the high E. What note do we have here? I'm going to take this circle down. What note do we have here, guys? This is our C, 1st fret of the B. What do we have here, guys? What do we have here? Take a look, take a moment. D, open D. All right, guys, what do we have here? Take a moment, take a moment. This is the 3rd fret of the high E for the note G. All right, guys, tell me what we have here. I'm going to be going a little bit quicker since we've covered all the locations of the notes. Keep typing in your answers. And while you're typing in an answer, if you like this type of thing, hit that thumbs up. We all like thumbs up, especially me. It makes me feel good because I don't always have a great way to gauge whether or not people like what I'm doing. And this channel is all about you guys. It's not about me. All right, guys, so we have open B here. And when I say this channel is about you guys, I'm serious. Like, I already know all the things I would really need to play the music that I want to play. I'm trying to discover how you guys can learn the stuff that you need to know to play the music you want to play. All right, guys, we have second fret of the D for an E. I really like to play very spacey music. Spacey music for sure. I don't advertise this too much, but I really love looping. I love looping space music. We have here B, second fret of the A. All right, guys, what do we have here? Take a moment, take a moment. Pause the video if I'm going too fast. Take your time finding these notes. I don't expect this to be an immediate thing for anybody. We're only doing natural notes today. Next episode, we're going to be doing either natural notes again, where you guys write it down the staff, or we're going to be doing accidentals. I'll kind of probably flip a coin on that. It doesn't matter which one we do first. This is an open E. Okay, guys, let's do 3 more of these, and then I'm going to move us up. We're going to move up in the world to 5th position. 5th position. All right, guys, what do we have here? What note is this? Where are we going to play it? In 1st position. This is our open G. Open G. The note is G, and you play it with the open G string. So 2 more. Let's see where this takes us. Oh, way low down on the staff. Very low on the staff. Let me know how you guys like the graphics on the screen. Let me know if there's any improvement. The audio quality isn't as high today because I had a technical boo-boo the very moment I tried to get started. I'll have to figure that out when I'm off the stream. All right, guys, this is F, 1st fret of the low E, F. Now, again, if you guys are coming in and out, drop in, answer what you can, come back to the video. Once you go through the entire video, you're going to know your fretboard a lot better. Let's see what our next note is. What do we have here? This is the last note before we start to move up to 5th position. And for you guys that are at an intermediate level, this is where it starts to get really, really good. What do we have here, guys? This is A, 2nd fret of the G. A, 2nd fret of our G. Okay, guys, so we're going to move on to 5th position. I just want to give you a heads up. I have interactive games in my membership area for the dojo members where you can quiz this and see how fast you can get this stuff. And it's all kind of laid out in levels. My students seem to really like it. I made the games myself, and I'm not going to do any more of them because I wasted too much time trying to program games and not playing my guitar. So you guys can still check those out because there's like 10 levels of it, and it's really quick. It moves very, very fast, and you have to know your stuff. So check out musicandguitarlessons.com. Also, while this live stream is going, and for about a half hour after the live stream, I'm going to allow people to schedule a lesson with me. Of course, I'm going to ask you to become a dojo member when you meet with me, but I'm still going to take care of a question, and I'm not going to get super bummed if you don't join. But I want people to join the dojo to keep food in my belly. All right, guys, so we're going to move to 5th position. And in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up some text because when you're reading music, oftentimes you're going to know if you're in the 5th position when you see this big 5, this big Roman numeral 5 up top. Now, don't confuse this Roman numeral 5 with our Roman numeral analysis Roman numerals, right? Because that would mean the 5 chord, right? But we're just talking about position here. So real quick, 5th position is when your index is aligned with the 5th fret. So we're going to be up here now, guys, and this is where it gets tricky, and this is where, Aruna, this is where you're going to start to learn what note, like when do you play it on another string, right? So we're doing this one note at a time. If you guys like this series, I'm going to do 2-hour live streams on like intervals. Like we're going to quiz all the major and minor thirds and stuff. Major, minor sixths and sevenths, perfect fourths and fifths. We're going to go through everything. We're going to quiz chords in every position possible. And these are going to be very long live streams. So hit that thumbs up button if you want to see more of this. All right, guys. So first, hey, thanks for just subscribing, Jeff. Also, I got this cool little, actually, let me point there. I've got this cool little zombie guy that'll pop up if you subscribe while you're watching. All right, guys, so on the the low E string, we're getting the note A. So before, this was our open A. So let's just real quick I'm going to prove to you that this is actually the same A. So when we're looking at playing in a higher position, this would be our open low E, right? And then we went up to F, which is a half step, right? And then we went up to G, which is another whole step, right? And then we went up to A, but that was our open A. But we can still go up another whole step from there. So these two notes are the same. And you'll notice people oftentimes tune their guitar like fifth fret, and that's not a good way of doing it, but people will do it that way because they're matching notes. And I'll do another lesson on tuning, how to properly tune a guitar, another time. But that's why people tune it that way. So we have A here. We're just going to do low E, fifth position to start. And we go up to B, which is a whole step. And then up to, oopsies, C, which is another half step from there. So we have A is the fifth fret, B is the seventh, and C is the eighth. Okay, guys, let's quiz these three, and then we're going to add in the D string as we go. What note are we going to get? What note is this? We're going to play it in fifth position, so what string and what fret number? This is where it gets really tricky, guys. If you guys need to revisit, Jeff, it's all good, man. Come back. I hope, take care of the wife. I wouldn't even be here myself if my wife was sick, so you're a good man. Okay, guys, we are talking about B, seventh fret of the low E. Remember, guys, if you got to dip out and go take care of stuff, this video will be waiting for you. The reason I'm doing this is because I also have personal students that I want to go through this with, and it's easier to just send them to a video so that in the lessons we can talk about the really, 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 really important stuff, which is the music. All right, guys, what note do we have here? We're in fifth position, so fifth fret to eighth fret. Where are we going to play this sucker? Where are we going to play this? This is A, fifth fret of the low E. I'm going to do three more, guys, then we're going to add in the D string. So what note do we have, and how are we going to play it in the fifth position? This is C, which is the eighth fret of our low E. What do we have here, and where are we going to play it? This, of course, is B, seventh fret of the low E. All right, last question. What do we have here? I know it's fairly simple when all we have is three notes, but it's always good to start with a little and then just add a little on each time, right? Repetition is just key when you're trying to learn an instrument. So this is A, fifth fret of the low E. All right, guys, so we're going to add in the D string now. Or sorry, the A string. My bad. So starting on the A string, we'll see we have D here. D is the fifth fret, right? So if we go A, B, C, and then this D instead of our open D, right? And then forward we have an E, which you'll see above me. E is a whole step up from D, right? So that brings us to the seventh fret there. And after that, we're going to move up to F, which is a half step up from E, which brings us to the eighth fret with our pinky. So we have D, E, F, right? So we have A, B, C, D, E, F. So let's quiz these guys. I'm going to put my foot down because it feels like it's falling asleep, and I kind of want to scoot up. Oop, I bonked my guitar. All guitars get bonked eventually, guys. It used to bring such a tear to my eye, but now I learned to shrug it off. Okay, what note do we have here, and how are we going to play it in the fifth position? What note do we have, and how are we going to play it in the fifth position? I think if I actually move this direction, you guys can see me a little better. All right, guys, we have D, fifth fret of A. So let's keep moving. What note do we have here? And where are we going to play it? In the fifth position. Take your time with this, guys. It's harder up in the fifth position. Of course, here we have the note F, which is our eighth fret of the A string. All right, guys, what note do we have here? And where are we going to play it? What note do we have? And where to play this sucker? This is B, seventh fret of the low E. B, seventh fret of the low E. All right, guys, what note do we have here? And where are we going to play it? What note do we have, and where are we going to play it? We're at about 50 minutes of the 2-hour live stream. This is going to be fun, guys. You all are all going to know your fretboard better. So we have seventh fret of the A for the E. Here's a nice little pattern for you guys. So the E here, 7th fret, is an octave higher than this open low string below it. And the same thing works for the D, you'll see. So let's take a look. What do we have here, guys? 5th position, 5th position. This is an A, 5th fret of the low E. 2 more, guys, 2 more. What do we have here? What note is it? What fret are we going to use on our guitar? This is C, 8th fret of the low E. All right, 1 more, guys, 1 more. What do we have here? What note is this? And where are we going to play it? Then we're going to add in the D string. All right, this is D, which should be the open D string, but we're in 5th position, so it's 5th position for 5th fret of the A. Okay, so now we're moving forward, guys. We're adding in the D string. So when you see this G and we need to play it in 5th position, that's going to be 5th fret of the D. So if we go open D, whole step to E, half step to F, and then another whole step to G, right? And then if we go forward in the alphabet, we get an A. So that's 7th fret of the D. That's another whole step. Now here's something, guys, just to be aware of, right? You're gonna have to stretch to the 9th fret to get this B, or you can kind of stretch back to the 4th fret of the G to get that B. So we have open G, A, 2nd fret, whole step to 4th fret for the B. However, thanks for subscribing, Joe. However, when we go up here to the 9th fret, that keeps our index aligned with the 5th fret. So we're going to use that, the 9th fret, right? So we have G, 5th fret, A, 7th fret, and B, 9th fret. So we're going to go ahead and start quizzing these ones, guys. I'm going to sit properly just for a second. Where does the note land? Here we go. What note do we have here? Where are we going to play it? And of course, guys, you know, if you need to pause the video and take time to find the notes, there is no shame in that game. It took me a while to know all these notes. It really did. You know, ask any of my private students, you know, one of my main rules is you got to stave off your frustration. Don't get frustrated. Go as slow as you need to. It's more about finding the note correctly rather than finding it fast. Speed comes naturally. So this is A, 7th fret of our D string. All right, guys, what note is next? Let's there we go. What note do we have here? What note do we have here? This, of course, is E, and you're going to find that on the 7th fret of your A. All right, guys, let's go higher up again. What do we have here, guys? What note do we have here? I'm going to check the chat. Oh, it's all good, Jeff. I totally get it. I totally get it. Okay, guys. We have the note G, 5th fret of the D. All right, let's keep moving. Let's keep moving. What note do we have here? What's the letter? Where are we going to play it on our guitar in this position? Of course, this is B, 7th fret of the low E. And I'm going to bring that question an octave up. What note is this, and where are we going to play it? This, of course, is B. Now, it's a stretch from the 5th, right? It's a bit of a stretch. And I actually use my cello technique. I play cello, too. Guitar is my main instrument, but I'm more of a composer than anything, I suppose. So I like to play multiple instruments so that I can orchestrate them properly. And I use my cello technique. A lot of times you'll see people stretch with their pinky. I think, nay, stretch, make that stretch with your index and second, and then your pinky has such an easy time as compared to stretching like that, or maybe be able to do both. But regardless, we're 9th fret of the D to get this B. All right, guys, what note do we have here, and where are we going to play it? What note do we have, and where are we going to play this sucker? Dun, 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 dun. We are A, 5th fret of the low E. What note do we have here, and where are we going to play it? This, of course, is our D, 5th fret of the A. fifth fret of the A. Pow, pow. Here we go. What note do we have here, and where are we going to play it? And we're going to do 3 more total, including this one. This is C, 8th fret of the low E. Let's add in. You guys like my sound effects or not? All right, guys, what note do we have here, and where are we going to play it? What note do we have, and where are we going to play it? This, of course, is the note A, 7th fret of our D string. Okay, one more, guys, one more, and then we are going to keep moving along. Sorry if you guys can hear my cat crying in the sunroom. He's got a beautiful sunroom to hang out in, and he acts like it's just the end of the world to hang out in there with my dog while I'm live streaming. He just wants to come meow into the microphone. That's what he wants to do. All right, guys, this is B, 7th fret of the low E. So now we're going to move on to the G string. All right, so we have, if we count up from open G, we have G, and then A is a whole step up, and then B is another whole step from there, and then we get C, a half step up from there, right? So 5th fret is C, and then what we can do is we can move forward a whole step to D. So we're just adding 2 notes in on this string here. So let's go ahead and roll the dice and start seeing where our question lies. All right, we've got, what note is this? What string are you going to play it on, and what fret? Let us know down in the chat. And of course, if you're having fun with this, hit that thumbs up button. Tomorrow's live stream, we're going to be doing musical mornings, and that's going to be dojo members only, guys. I figured out how to make some of my live streams private. I got to do it as much as I want everybody to watch every live stream. I really need people to join the Fretboard Dojo. I've actually brought my student load down a little bit so that I can work on the website, but I need the website to fill in the lost income because, you know, I'm a human being that needs to eat. So anywhere from $2 to $25 a month, guys, and anybody that does the $25 a month level gets a book, you know, every month in the mail that I've written with my own 2 hands. And those books, by the way, are the ones that my students ask me to write. So you might even see a book pop up because you've asked me to write it. Okay, guys. So this is D, 7th fret of the G. No. What do we have here, guys? What note is it? Where are we going to play it in the 5th position? This is, again, where it gets trickier. And then the 9th position will be next, and that's a lot of fun. And then we're going to do an entire fretboard challenge where we just say, all right, where are all of the places we can play this note? So we have F here, 8th fret of the A, 8th fret of the A. Now be aware, guys, I'm doing 1, 5, and 9 for positions because it just covers the whole fretboard, but there are more positions than that. You have 2nd position, 3rd position, 4th, and so forth. But by quizzing these, we'll know where they all are for sure. All right, guys, what do we have here? What's the note, what's the string, and what's the fret number? We've got C, 5th fret of the G. All right, let's move a little lower down in the register. Okay, guys, what note do we have here? Let us know down in the chat. If you make it through the entire 2-hour video, you're going to know your fretboard so much better. So much better. All right, we have the note C, 8th fret of the low E. 8th fret of the low E, that's our note C. All right, we're hitting reset. What do we get? Okay, guys, remember this is a stretchy note if you're in 5th position. What is it, and where are we going to play it? Where are we going to play it? So, of course, is 9th fret of the D for the note B natural. All right, let's keep moving through this stuff. What note do we have here, and how are we going to play it in the 5th position? What note is this, and how are we going to play it in the 5th position? This is our E, which is the 7th fret of the A. All right, I'm going to hit the reset button, and what note do we have here? Where are we going to play it? What note do we have, and where are we going to play it? That's the big question for the day. This is the note A, 5th fret of the low E. Guys, remember, I'm taking some new Skype students. If you want your first free lesson, hit that link below. There are 0 obligations. I will ask you if you want to study with me regularly, but that first session is free. And I'm not going to expect that you sign up as a payment for it. But please sign up only if you're interested in possibly taking lessons with me. All right, guys. What note do we have here, and where are we going to play it? What note do we have, and where are we going to play it? This is the note D, 5th fret of the A. All right, let's get like 5 or 6 more of these, and we're going to add in the B string. All right, guys, what note do we have here, and how do we play it? This is our A, 7th fret of the D string. I'm going to check the chat here in a few minutes, guys. Trying to get through these a little bit more before I go into the chat again. All right, what note do we have here? How do we play it? What note do we have, and how do we play it? Thank you so much for participating at this level, guys. It's really awesome. I'm having so much fun with this. Okay, guys, 7th fret of the G for our note D. Okay, let's keep moving. What note do we have, and how do we play the... All right. Here, of course, we have G, which is 5th fret of the D. All right, let's go down a little bit lower in the register. What do we have here, guys? What note is this? How do we play it? We're going to do 3 more in this position up to this string, and we're going to add in the B string. Do a handful more, then add in the high E. We have the note B, which is the 7th fret of the low E. All right, 2 more on this same level, guys. What note do we have here? Where do we play it? Where do we play this sucker? Okay, we have the note C, 5th fret of the G. Note C, 5th fret of the G. Okay, 1 more of these guys, and then we're going to add in some more. Got to keep adding in. What note do we have here? Where do we play it? This is beautiful. So many people are interested in knowing their staff notation so well. You guys are not going to regret it. It is harder to learn than tab is, but the benefits are endless. The benefits are totally endless. You'll even get to the point where tab confuses you, I promise. All right. C, 8th fret of the low E. So let's add in our B string here. So the first thing we're going to run into on the B is 5th fret is our open E, but let's prove it. I don't want to just tell you guys that this is the way it is, and like, don't worry about why. So let's go from open B. Of course, we get a whole step up to C, or it's a half step up to C, a whole step up to D, and then another whole step up to E. Sorry if I make any mistakes verbally, guys. I'm live, and I'm just a human being too. So sometimes it's just like saying the word cheese wrong on accident or something. 5th fret, right? And then up from there, we can go 1 letter forward, but a half step forward in the alphabet. F, right? That's going to take us to the 6th fret of the high E, of the B string. And then G, which is our 8th fret. That's another whole step up from there, right? So we have E, 5th fret, F, 6th fret, and G on our 8th fret, a whole step up from that F. So let's just hit the button that makes us go crazy, and here we go. What note do we have here, and how do we play it? I'm going to quiz all the ones on the B string before we move back to the ones that we were doing before. Looks like we've got 17 people on the stream right now. Everybody's participating. Jeff, thank you so much for participating. And the cool thing about participating, guys, is that you know it better because you're actually typing in your answer. So this is E, 5th fret of the B string, right? Let's hit that button again. What do we have here? What do we have here? What's the note, and what fret in the 5th position am I going to play it on the B string? And then we're going to add in the notes that we did before this. This is a 1 step at a time process, guys. 1 step at a time process. All right, guys, this is G, 8th fret of our B string. 8th fret of the B string. And the last one that we haven't done on this string. What note is this? Where are we going to find it? In the upcoming streams, I'm also going to have you guys go the other way around. So right now you're recognizing it and finding it on the fretboard. I'm going to have you, I'm going to show it to you on the fretboard, and then I'm going to have you write it down too. And that's so important to do. I mean, in school, they teach you to read and write. I don't know why in music they only teach you to read. And in fact, in university, they taught us to read and write. Like, we wrote so much choir music, it's crazy. Which is why I'm good at looping, I think. So I know my voicings. So here we go. F, 6th fret of the B. At least why I think I'm good at looping. I'm sure there are a couple people that don't think I'm all that good, but you know, everybody has some form of haters out there. Okay, guys, what note do we have here, and how are we going to play it in the 5th position? So our index is aligned with the 5th fret. How are we going to play this B? Of course, I've given you the note name, but that's only as good as saying the note B. Let me know what your guitar says about the note B, right? That's the 9th fret of the D string. Okay, guys, let's hit that button again. What note do we have here, and how are we going to play it in the 5th position? You know, tell me the note name, tell me the string number, and of course, tell me that fret number. This, of course, is a G, which we're going to play on the 5th fret of the D string. We're going to do more of this, guys, where I add in accidentals. It's better just to do natural notes at first, because a sharp is only a half step away and a flat is only a half step away. Woo! Here we go. What do we have? What note, and how am I going to play it? I'm so glad to see everybody is joining in the chat. Very awesome. James Shackelford, thank you so much for joining yet again. It looks like you're getting all this stuff really well. It looks like everybody's getting in some great answers. And if you're watching the replay, you can actually look at the live chat now. That's one of YouTube's new things. It's really cool. Okay, guys, this is C, 8th fret of the low E. All right, let's hit that button again. All right, what note do we have here? How are we going to play it? What note do we have, and how are we going to play it? All right, guys, this is the note C, 5th fret of the G string. All right, guys, what note do we have here, and how are we going to play this one? How are we going to play this one, guys? This, of course, is the note E, 7th fret of the A. 7th fret of the A. And one of the cool things, this works all the way up to the G string, right? So our low open E is E, 7th fret of the A is E. Our open A, and then 7th fret of the D is A, right? Open D, 7th fret of the G is that. And it changes at the G because the distance between G and B is different than the distance between the other strings, right? We're tuned in all fourths and 1/3. So let's hit that button that makes us go crazy again. What note do we have here? Where and how are we going to play it? This, of course, is F, 6th fret of the B. Let's move downwards just a bit. All right, guys. What do we have here? What note? How are we going to play it? Where are we going to play it? Of course, we have to stay in 5th position here. 5th position. This is B, 7th fret of the low E. All right, guys. What do we have here? This is what's the note? What's the string? What's the fret? Of course, we have to stay in 5th position here. So let's check it out. This is A, 7th fret of the D. You can find that very quickly showing you that little logical rule that I had laid out for you. So what note do we have here? And where doth ye play yon note? This, of course, is D, 7th of the G. D, 7th fret of the G. I see Angie there in the chat. Thanks for joining us, Angie. Always good to have you. She's a very dedicated classical guitar student. I mean, she takes not lessons from me, but I can tell you that she's a dedicated classical guitar student. Trust me. She's very dedicated. So here we go. Next. All right, guys. What note do we have here? Where are we going to play it? What string? What fret? This is some of something I tell my students often is one of the hardest things about guitar is just knowing the fretboard. Okay, guys, this is F, 8th fret of the A. What note do we have here? We're going to do 3 more, and then we're going to add in the high E string. And we're going to quiz the heck out of our 5th position. And then we're going to move into 9th position and then do a total fretboard quiz. All right, guys, here we go. This is C, 8th of the low E. All right, guys, what note do we have here? And how do we play this thing? What note do we have? How do we play it? What string? Of course, we're in 5th position here, right? So this is going to be the 8th fret of the B, giving us the note G. B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay, guys. One more, then we're going to add in the high E string here. What do we have here? The lowest note of the position, right? And while you guys are looking for that last one for this part of the quiz, I'm going to just check the chat to see if anybody has any pressing question. Looks like we're getting a lot of correct answers in here, guys. Very cool. I am super, super glad to see everybody doing well with this. Remember, this is the channel to come to if you guys want to build your basic musicianship so that you can just be a slice above. This one is the 5th fret of the low E for our A. All right, guys, so we're going to add in the high E string. So, of course, as with everything that I do on my channel, don't take it for granted, right? If I tell you something's true, then you need to hold my feet to the fire and say, Russ, why is this true? Right? That's what I've always done with my teachers. Like, why? Why? So let's prove that this is actually an A, right? So we have open E, 1st fret to F, and then a whole step to the G, right? Another whole step to our A, right? So we went open E, 1st fret is the F because it's a half step up, and then we have G, another whole step, and then we have A, a whole step from there. So that brings us to the 5th fret. And then we go forward from there. So we go another whole step to B, bringing us to the 7th fret, and then another half step to C, bringing us to the 8th fret. Now, you'll notice that the low E and the high E share the same pattern, right? So we have A, B, C, we have A, B, C, we have E, F, G, we have E, F, G, right? So there's lots of similarities here. So let's quiz these 3 for just a second because it's a little higher up and I think requires its own little bit. And then we'll quiz the whole 5th position. So here we go, guys. What note is this and where exactly are we going to play it? What note is it and where are we going to play it? This, of course, is our B, which is going to be the 7th fret of the high E string. What note is this, and where are we going to play it? Hint, hint, hint. Right? 5th fret for A. After that, what do we have here? What note is this? And, where are we going to play it? Where are we going to play it? Jeff, if you want to check out some of my looping, I actually have one video on this channel of my looping, and I put up a video on my looping channel recently, which is a channel I like to keep hidden because it's not always kid-friendly, so I don't always want my students' parents to find out about this channel. It's not that it's not kid-friendly. It's just that sometimes I put audio in that might have curse words or something in it. So you can check out Spaceships Live. Check out my most recent looping video. I think that's one of my favorite I've ever done. I tried to do a very Hans Zimmer type of sound. Okay, guys, we have C. C. This is our C, 8th fret. And also, real quick, Jeff, about my looping too, just keep in mind, everything is not rehearsed. I make up everything on the spot. It's all live composition. I jack into YouTube Live and I write everything on the spot. So there might be a couple rough points in there, but hey, that's what happens when you play 45-minute set without having heard of it, written it, or what have you. Okay, guys, here we go. We're going to the rest of the quiz here. Boom, 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 boom. Da, 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 da. All right. What note is this? And where on earth are we going to be playing it? Where on earth are we going to be playing this note? This, of course, sorry, I didn't mean to minimize that. I'm still getting used to the live streaming setup. This is the note E, 7th fret of the A. Okay, guys, what note do we have here? Where do we play it? What string? What fret? All right, guys, this is the note F. F, 6th fret of the B. 6th fret of the B. Okay, guys, what note do we have here? What note do we have here? C, 8th fret of the low E. I'm going to go a little quicker through this part of the quiz, guys, because we've got all the strings under our fingers and all of that. And I want to make sure we get enough questions in to make this valuable for everybody. What note do we have here? 5th position. Remember, our index is aligned with the 5th position. This is the note B, 9th fret of the D. All right, what note do we have here, guys? 5th position, G, 5th fret of the D. What note do we have here, guys? What note do we have here? Sorry if you can hear my kitty meowing. He's in kitty jail because he always likes to come meow into my microphone. This is 7th fret of the high E, which is B. All right, guys, where are we going to play this note here? Where are we going to play this note here? This is D, 7th fret of the G. All right, guys, where are we going to play this one? This, of course, is our F, 8th fret of the A. F, 8th fret of the A. Whoa, let's not do that one. We've done that one a number of times now. Even though that's kind of the point, right? All right, guys, this is B, 7th fret of the low E. Let's do that one. What note do we have here? Where are you guys going to play it? Let's do like 10 more questions, and then we're going to move on to the 9th position. This, of course, is G, 8th fret of the B. What note do we have here? Where are we going to play it? And 5, 4, 3, 2, C, 5th fret of the G. All right, what note do we have here, guys? Where are we going to play it? Of course, this is A, 5th fret of the low E. What note do we have here? And where are we going to play it? In 5, 4, 3, 2, A, 5th fret of the high E. All right, let's do 3 more, guys. 3 more. All right, what note do we have here, and how in the world are we going to play it? Where are we going to play this one? Of course, 5th fret of the A. This is our D. 2 more of these, guys, and we're going to move up to the 9th position. 9th position, that is where the brave people go. Here we go, guys. What note is this? How are we going to play this in the 5th position? How are we going to play this in the 5th position, guys? This, of course, is C, 8th fret of our high E string. All right, guys, we're going to... Last one. Okay, what note do we have here? Where are we going to play it on the B string? What note do we have, and where are we going to play it on the B string? Of course, guys, this is the note F, 6th fret of the B. Okay, so we're going to move up to the 9th position here. So, you're going to see the Roman numeral for 9 oftentimes when it's time to play in the 9th position. And just with all positioning, right, your index is going to be with the 9th fret here. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the low E and work our way up to the high E. Of course, as with everything, guys, I want you to understand that the information is king. I am not king. The information is king. So let's prove that this 10th fret of our high E, or low E rather, is D, right? I don't want you guys to just take everything I say on faith, because that's crazy when people ask that of people. So we have low E, half a step up to F, a whole step up to G, right? Another whole step up to A, another whole step up to B, another half step to C, and then another whole step to D, which brings us to the 10th fret, right? And then we can also move one whole step forward to the 12th fret for E. Now here's a really cool piece of fretboard information, guys. The 12th fret, everything starts over. Now, I say that a lot on my Musical Mornings series because we do a lot of like specific type of quizzing, and I only quiz up to the 12th fret because everything else just repeats up there, right? So if I have like this E and C here and I want to play it up here, I just pretend the 12th fret is this white deal, right? So here we go. We're gonna just do these two once or twice because I don't want to quiz two of them. But of course, we have what note here? This is our note E, which is the 12th fret of the low E, and 10th fret for D right here. So let's go ahead and just add in our A string now. Now here's an issue that we're going to run into with the ninth position. We're going to have a couple notes that are missing, specifically F, right? So F is the 8th fret of the A, but we're on the ninth position here. So you can stretch back to get that F. I'm going to leave it in just for the sake of having a complete alphabet, but understand that you're actually stretching back to the 8th fret for that F. After that, you can move a whole step forward to the 10th fret for G here, and then you can move another whole step to the 12th fret for A. So what we have is D, E, F, G, A. So we have D, which is the 10th fret of the low E, 12th fret of the low, 12th fret of the low E, F, 8th fret of the G, right? And then we have G, 10th fret of the A, F, 8th fret of the A. Sometimes I get a little muddled saying numbers and letters, and I've actually never thought fret numbers. This is new to me. I've always just thought letters. And I tell people that, and they think it's so weird. So G, which is our 10th fret of A, and then A, of course, the 12th fret of A. So let's mix these up. All right, guys. What note do we have here? One of the reasons why, by the way, people ask me, like, why did you never really think fret numbers? Well, my first guitar never had fret markers. So I just didn't do it. I maybe worked off of tab 3 times in my life. Okay, so we've got G, 10th fret of the A. All right, guys, what note do we have here, and how exactly are we going to play it? How exactly are we going to play it? What's up, Rick Cooley? Rick's a real cool guy. Everybody say hi to Rick. We're memorizing our fretboard today, Mr. Rick. All right, 12th fret of the low E for this E. All right, guys, what about this note? Where are we going to play this in the 9th position? Remember, a couple of notes we're going to stretch back to the 8th position just for the sake of being complete. Of course, this is D, 10th fret of the low E. All right, so let's do 2 more, then we're going to add in the next bit. What note do we have here, and how are we going to play this way up the neck? What note do we have here, and how in the world does somebody play something like this up on the neck? Of course, we have A here. A, 12th fret of the A. All right, guys, let's go ahead and add in the D string. Okay, so you remember B here, we had it 9th fret, right? So we went D, whole step to E, half step to F, whole step to G, whole step to A, and then whole step to B, bringing us to the 9th fret, right? And then a half step forward is going to bring us to C. So this is our C, this is the 10th fret of the D, right? And then we go another whole step up to 12th fret of the D for that D, right? So we're going to be doing B, C, and D on the D string. Now remember, 12th fret is where you're going to find those, like if it's the D string and it's that octave up, the 12th fret is the octave point, right? Everything starts over at the 12th fret. All right, guys, let's mix this up. All right, guys, 10th fret of the D, which is C. I'm going to ask you guys to put this next one in the chat. So who is going to be the first? What note is this? And where in the world are we going to play this? Where are we going to play this, guys? What note is it? This is, of course, B, which is our 9th fret of the D. All right, let's keep moving. All right, guys. Ninth position. What note do we have here? Where exactly are we going to play it? Let me know down in the chat. Let me know down in the chat. If you're watching the rerun of this, again, you can just get your guitar out and follow along. Of course, this is D, 10th fret of the low E. What about this one? What letter do we have here? And where are we going to play it on the guitar? Where are we going to play it on the guitar? Of course, this is the note D, 12th fret of the D string. What about this one, guys? What do we have here? What do we have here? What's the note? Where are we going to play it? This is the note C, and you're going to get that on the 10th fret of your D string. 10th fret. All right, let's do a couple more, and then we're going to add in the next string. Ooh, it's the weird one, right? The one where we kind of have to not be in ninth position to get it. I mean, you can get it up here on the 13th fret of the low E, but I want you to get it on the 8th fret of the A for the purposes of this memorization video. Okay, let's keep moving. Let's keep moving. Of course, guys, if you guys want to join the Fretboard Dojo, I would be very, very happy to have you. I'm actually going to be doing a Google Hangouts where you can actually jack in with some video yourself, and we can all hang out and talk about music. All of it's going to be based off of the questions you bring in. And of course, if I can answer the questions off the top of my head, I will. And if not, we'll sit down and all do some research together, right? Okay, guys, here we go. This is B, the 9th fret. 9th fret of the D. Let's do 2 more, and then we're going to move on to the next string. All right, guys, what note do we have here? And where are we going to play it in the 9th position? What note do we have, and where do we play it in the 9th position? Of course, this is G, which we're going to play on the 10th fret of the A. Let's do the last one today, or not today, but for this set of position and strings, we're going to add in our G string. Of course, guys, this is A, 12th fret of the A. 12th fret of the A here. Okay, guys, our next letter is E, which we're going to find on the 9th fret of the G. Now, of course, don't take my word for it. Let's prove it. So we have G, whole step to A, whole step to B, half step to C, whole step to D, and whole step to E, bringing us to the 9th fret. After that, we can move another half step up to F, right? Bringing us to the 10th fret. And then up from F, a whole step to G, which is our 12th fret. So let's go ahead and mix up the cards here. 9th position is where I think most people struggle. All right, guys, what note do we have, and where are we going to play it? Of course, it's C on the D, which is our 10th fret. All right, what about here, guys? What note do we have, and how are we going to play it? Let us know the answers down in the chat. I know this is a long fretboard memorization session, so if you guys need to pause the video, go grab a drink, go hang out for a minute, definitely do that. So what note do we have here, and how are we going to play this in the 9th position? Let us know down in the chat. Let us know down in the chat. This, of course, is our F, 10th fret of the G. 10th fret of the G. What note do we have here, and how are we going to play it? Let me know down in the chat there. Let me know down in the chat. Of course, guys, this is the note E, and we're going to be playing this on the 9th fret of the G. 9th fret of the G. Let's mix up the cards again. What note do we have here, and where are we going to play this in the 9th position? How are we going to play this one in the 9th position? Let me know in the chat, guys. I know it looks like a lot of the answers have kind of slowed to a trickle because, well, we're up in the 9th position and it's harder. So if you guys need to pause the video for sure and take a moment to find it. It didn't happen to me overnight memorizing the fretboard. Certainly not. So G is 12th fret of the G string. All right, so we're going to go through 5 more questions or so on this one before we add in our next string. Let's keep going. All right, guys, what do we have here? Remember, this is the one note that we're kind of leaving position to get. We're going to do one more that we leave position a little bit on the high E, but for now, this is the one that we're doing. This is F, which is our 8th fret of the A. Of course, you got to stretch back a little bit when you're in 9th position for that one. Or you can grab it 13th of the high E, but we're not really going past 12th fret today. Okay, guys, let's hit that button, mix it up. What note do we have here, and how are we going to play this in the 9th position? How are we going to play this in the 9th position? We are going to do this as C, 10th fret of the D. Definitely you guys should have your guitar out trying to find these as we go along. All right. What note do we have here, and how in the world do we play this one in the 9th position? How do we play this one in the 9th position? Are you guys still getting my video? I'm seeing almost no answers now, and the last chat I got was no, so that might mean that my stream isn't working too well, but it's saying my stream's good. So, all right, guys, this one is D, which is the 10th fret of the low E. If you guys are able to see my stream and it's still working great for you, please let me know in the chat just so that, you know, you can calm my worried mind. All right. Ooh, that's too high. All right, what is this note and how are we going to play it in the 9th position? What note do we have here and how do we play it in the 9th position? Of course, after this, finishing the 9th position, we're going to do an entire fretboard quiz, and I'm going to take some questions and suggestions. You know, the difference between this channel and other channels is I want you guys to tell me what you need to know. Let me know what you need to know. I'm going to tell you also what you need to know, but let me know what you're struggling with. Let me know what to make videos on. Okay, guys, this is D, 12th fret of the D. Ooh, too low. All right, guys, what note do we have here, and how in the world are we going to play it? Of course, this is G, 12th fret of that G string. 12th fret, 12th fret. Okay, we're still good. Good, great, great. All right, guys, let's keep moving. Let's do 3 more, and then we're going to add in the next string. We just did that one. What note do we have here? What note do we have, and where do we play it? Where do we play it? A couple more moments. Of course, this one's F. Or sorry, E. Ooh, I thought a 2-hour live stream would be easy on my brain, but I'm pretty fatigued. So here we go. This is the 9th fret of the G string, our E. Same as our open E, by the way. And one thing that I like to do is you can take your open E and your other E's and kind of like, let's say like we're doing an E minor scale, we're just going. That's great stuff for loopers, especially if you got that delay pedal and the reverb going. Okay, guys, what note do we have here? How do we play it? We're gonna do one more after it, and then we're gonna add in the B string. Of course, this is F, 10th fret of the G. Last question. What note do we have here, and how do we play it in the 9th position? Originally, we had discovered that it was 2nd of the D, and then we found out that it was 7th of the A, and then lo and behold, it's also 12th of the low E, being our note, E. All right, guys, so let's add in the B string. First note we're going to run into on this position in the B string, the natural note, by the way, we're not doing sharps and flats this lesson, is the A, which is our 10th fret of the B. But again, don't take my word for it. Let's count up from open B. So we have open B, C, then we go to D, whole step to E, half step to F, whole step to G, and sorry, hold on, A, then whole step to A. Here's our A, right? And then we can go another whole step up to get B, which is the 12th fret, right? So we have D, E, stretch back for the F, G, A, and then B, C, D, E, F, G, and then A is our 10th fret, and then B, our 12th. So let's hit that button that makes this thing go crazy, and we're going to find What is this note and where do we play it? What is the note and where do we play it? Looks like we got the answers rolling in. Guys, remember, keep those answers rolling in. That's what makes this so cool. That makes this so cool. How cool is it to get education like this? I cannot wait to see what the next 10 years looks like for free online education. And of course, if you want to support that, the type of people that are moving free online education forward in a very meaningful way, like me, you can become a dojo member for anywhere from $2 to $25 a month. And the people that do $25 a month, you get one of my books for free a month. Okay, guys, we're not for free as a part of the membership, right? It's kind of like I'm like the Blue Apron of music education. So we have A here, which is the 10th fret of the B. So let's hit that button again. What do we have here? What note do we have? Originally, we had found it on 7th fret of the high E, but now it's the 12th fret of the B, being the note B, of course. All right, let's mix it up again. My kitty's out there screaming like he just can't handle being in that beautiful sunroom with all the windows and the sun coming through. Of course, this, guys, is an A, which is the 12th fret of the A string. Okay, let's hit that button again. It's going crazy, and it stops on this note. What is this note? How do we play it in the 9th position? What is this note, and how do we play it in the 9th position? Of course, this is our E. And E is the 9th fret of the G. I have a book, the next book I'm working on. I just finished one, guys, on rhythm, clapping rhythm. YouTube needs it so bad. I went and saw, half the people on YouTube are telling you there's 6 beats and 6/8. It's just, the state of affairs is poor. So after that book comes out, I'll do a full video on it as well. Of course, I've got my fretboard book coming out next, which uses color. Everybody's been excited about that. Okay, guys, what do we have here? How are we going to play this in the 9th position? We're going to do 3 more questions with this string. And we're going to add in the high E and do a total 9th position quiz, and then move on to a total fretboard quiz. This, of course, is E, which is 12th fret of our low E string. 12th fret of the low E. All right, I'm going to hit that shuffle button. What do we have here? What's going on? What note do we have here? And how do we play it in the 9th position? What note do we have, and how do we play it in the 9th position? And of course, if you guys want to have a private session of memorizing the fretboard with me, down on the link below, you can schedule one. And I'm taking that link down 30 minutes after I end this live stream. So you better get on it if you want it. Okay, guys, this is A, 10th fret of the B. 10th fret of the B. Very cool, very cool. All right, moving forward. 1 or 2 more questions. What note do we have here, and where do we play it? And 5, 4, 3, 2, B, 9th of the D. All right, 1 more question, guys, and we're going to add in the next string, which is our high E. And of course, in 5, 4, 3, 2, this is B, 12th fret of the B. Okay, guys, next what we have, this is another one we're going to just kind of stretch back to the 8th fret just to have a complete alphabet. I just don't really like skipping notes. So we have 8th fret for that C, but of course, I want to make sure you guys know that I'm not making this stuff up. So E, open high E, half a step up to F, whole step to G, whole step to A, right, whole step to B, half step to C, giving us the 8th fret. And we can do another whole step up from there, giving us D, 10th fret, and another whole step to E, the 12th fret. And that's the highest note we're going to cover in this lesson. So let's hit that shuffle, and we're going to stick around here for now. What do we have here? What is this note, and how are we going to play it? Of course, this is the one where we got to stretch back a little bit. Of course, since I just covered it, it's just C, 8th fret of the high E. 8th fret of the high E. What do we have here, guys? Let me know down in the chat what note we have and where we're going to play it in the 9th position. Excellent job, everybody, in inputting your answers. I'm just so psyched to see such an engaged audience. That's just awesome. Okay, guys, this is your 12th fret of the high E. E. Okay, let's keep moving. What do we have here? what note is this, and where are we going to play? Of course, we're doing the total ninth position quiz, and we're going to move on to an entire fretboard quiz for the last 5 to 10 minutes of the video. Of course, this is A, which is the 12th fret of the A string in ninth position. What note do we have here? And where are we going to play this? What note do we have, and where are we going to play it? And again, guys, if you want a private fretboard memorization session, just you and me via Skype, check that link below. Check that link below. All right, guys, this is D, which is the 10th fret of the high E. All right, we're going to just go ballistic here. Where are we going with this? Oop, too low. What note do we have here, and how are we going to play this in the ninth position? I'm going to go a little bit quicker from this point forward because now we've covered the whole shebang. This is the D, the 10th fret of your low E. What do we have here, guys? Let me know down in the chat what we have. Of course, play it on your guitar first. This is our D, 12th fret of the D. All right, guys, what note do we have here? Where are we going to play this? How do we play this in the ninth position? Ooh, 12 hours or 2 hours is a long live stream. I'm going to go take a nice long walk after this. My butt is sore from sitting down so long. All right, guys, B, ninth fret of the D. What note do we have here, and how do we play this in the ninth position? This, of course, is A, 10th fret of the B. All right, guys, what note do we have here? How do we play this in the ninth position? Of course, this is E, which is our ninth fret of the G. All right, guys, what note do we have here, and how are we going to play it in the ninth position? Give us the answers in the chat. Hit that that thumbs up button. Jeff says there's birds screwing with my cat. Yeah, you know, I think that's probably true, but my cat's really weird. He lets like strange dogs walk up to him and stuff. I don't know if he even notices the birds so much. A bird could land on his head and he'd probably just, oh, what's up, buddy? So this is G, 10th fret of the A. All right, guys, what note do we have here? How do we play it in the ninth position? And of course, this is E, 12th fret of the low E. Again, guys, pause this video if you need to take the time to find each note. I'm going through it rather quickly, but I've been going through notes for many, many, many years. And I'm assuming the reason you're here is that you haven't been going through them as many years as I have. So take your time. Do not get frustrated. Being frustrated is the last thing that makes you better. All right, guys, we have D, 10th fret of the high E. What note do we have here next? Let me know how to play this in the ninth position. In 5, 4, 3, 2, A, 10th fret of the B. All right, guys. What do we have here, and how do we play it in the ninth position? In 5, 4, 3, 2, E, ninth fret of the G. Let's move very closely to the one that we just played. What do we have here? Let us know down in the chat. In 5, 4, 3, 2, F, 10th fret of the G. F is 10th fret of the G. All right, guys. What note do we have here? What note do we have here? How are we going to play this one in the ninth position? We're going to just do a few more, and then we're going to take an entire fretboard quiz. Then I'm going to take your questions and chat with you for a minute. Okay, guys, this is G, 10th fret of the A. 2 more of these, and we're going to do our entire fretboard quiz. All right, what note do we have here, and how are we going to play this in the ninth position? 5, 4, 3, 2, B, 12th fret of the B. All right, guys, what note do we have here? How are we going to play this in the ninth position? In 5, 4, 3, 2, D, 12th fret of the D. Oh, and real quick, I think Jeff was going to say he's going to check out my looping music. I actually accidentally started live streaming. That's why I was a minute late on this to my other YouTube channel. And as I started live streaming, like my entire room fell apart. It's a sad video, and I think it's still up there. So ignore that video. All right, guys, here's the last question for ninth position before we move up. What note do we have here, and how are we going to play this in ninth position? And we're going to do an entire fretboard quiz where you have to tell me each spot to play each note. And 5, 4, 3, 2, G, 10th fret of the A. All right, guys, so we have covered a lot of material. You know, we're about an hour and 40 minutes into this live stream, or hour and 45. And we've gone through all the positions. Yep, we're right at an hour and 45. So we've gone through all the positions. If you're just tuning in, this video is going to be available forever. Just go through it step at a time. If you need to pause it, please pause it and take the time to find these notes. Quizzing your notes regularly is the way to get good at this, right? I'm going to do more of these fretboard memorization videos where you guys join in and you give me your answers down in the chat, and I just kind of guide you through shapes, chords, and stuff. But before we can go through shapes and chords and all of that, you just need to know the general layout of the fretboard, because it's just, you know, there are a lot of guitar teachers on YouTube that are going to tell you, oh yeah, you need to learn the cage system before they even know whether or not you know how to spell chords. Like, you know, it's just, it's to me as a teacher, it's common sense to say, all right, you need to know where your notes are before you know where all of your chords are. I don't know why that isn't so common sense to some other teachers, and many other teachers it is common sense, but it's really hard to kind of sift through the muck on music and guitar education here on the internet. So I'm telling you guys, you really want to know the layout of the fretboard before you learn any of these quote unquote systems. The systems are not as important as understanding the music itself. The systems are a way to file, it's like a filing cabinet for your theoretical ideas, right? The cage isn't going to do you a lot of good unless you know how to use the chords that cage teaches you. And it's going to be hard to know the cage system really, really, really well if you don't know the layout of the fretboard. And in fact, I don't think the cage system is the end-all be-all system, you know. So we're going to go through this stuff, and we're going to just quiz the entire fretboard, and I'm going to take some questions from you guys, and then I want you guys to take some time to just write out some notes on some staff paper and find them all in as many positions as you can. Now, if you don't have staff paper and you don't want to go to the store to get staff paper, if you're like me and you hate going to the store, I have a link down below. You can download my personal staff paper template that I use, and I actually have 3 different sizes, small, medium, and large, depending on how big you want to write. So it's like, do that, right? Get to know this stuff. And in order to download the sheet music, yes, you got to join my mailing list. But if you want, it's a great resource. And my mailing list itself is a great resource. So let's do an entire fretboard quiz. And we're going to do that for probably about 5 minutes. And then we're going to move on to some questions. So you guys let me know what kind of questions you have. I'm going to just completely, like, they're all game now. I'm going to, all right. What note do we have here, guys? And not where do you play it, where are all of the places that you can play it? I'm going to give you a little bit more time on this because, of course, you're finding it in multiple spots now. And this is the really valuable thing. Like, where can you play? Like, where are all the places that you can play this? Up to the 12th fret. We're not going past the 12th fret here because it's all just repeating past the 12th fret. So let us know in the chat, what are all the strings that you can play this note on and where on each string? And I'm going to let you know in 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay, so D, we can get this on the 3rd fret of our B, as well as the 7th of the G and the 12th of your D. So I'm going to hit that reset button here, and we're going to find all of these notes. So where can I play all of these? Like, where are all these B's? Let us know in the chat. Of course, I'm going to let you know in 5, 4, 3, 2, open B, 4th fret of the G, of course, this is the note B, and then 9th fret of the D, right? So the reason I'm counting down on my answers is I want to give you guys a chance to pause the video and find these. Like, you don't need to go as fast as I do. certainly shouldn't go as fast as I do, because the reason you're here is because you're trying to learn it, and it's better to get the right answer slowly than the wrong answer quickly. So what note do we have here, and what are the places that we can play it? All the way up to the 12th fret, not past it. So in 5, 4, 3, 2, this is F, 3rd fret of the D, as well as 8th fret of the A. All right, guys, what note do we have here? What are the different places that this can be played? It's really important to know where all of the different places you can play this are. Samrat, hello, buddy. It's good to see you again. All right, guys, here we go. This is B, 2nd fret of the A, as well as 7th fret of the low E. I appreciate all of your answers that I'm seeing down in the chat. Awesome job, guys. I'm very happy to see everybody participating so well. All right, guys, what note do we have here? And what are all the places that we can play it? Again, if I'm moving quickly, that doesn't mean you can't pause the video. And also, guys, you might want to go through this video a couple times. And for my dojo members, I'm going to give you guys some custom links for some exercises on this so that you can have flashcards that pop up for you. Or you can also just download my sheet music linked below, the blank staff paper, and write these out. That's what the next episode is going to be like. So here we go. This is G, 3rd fret of the high E, 8th fret of the B, and 12th fret of the G. Generally, we're going to have 3 places to play each one all the way up to the 12th fret. All right, guys, what note do we have here? And where are all of the places that we're going to play it? I'm going to give you about 5, 4, 3, 2. This is A, 2nd fret of the G, 7th fret of the D, and 12th fret of the A. All right, guys. Oop, we just did that one. Let's do this one. What do we have here, guys? What note is this, and where are all of the places that we can play it? It's really important to know every single spot that you can play these notes at. I am just floored with how interactive this session has been, guys. I'm very happy. Thank you so much for joining and making this like worthwhile for me as well as everybody else. I really couldn't do this without you guys. This is our open G. We can also get it 5th fret of the D and 10th fret of the A for those G's. All right, guys, what note do we have here? And where are all of the places that we can play it? What note do we have here? And where are all of the places that we can play it? And 5, 4, let us know in the chat. 3, 2, this is A, 5th fret of the high E, as well as 10th fret of the B. And again, we're only going up to the 12th fret. We're not going past the 12th fret because everything's kind of repeating past there. We'll do a separate episode on past the 12th fret for reading. Okay, guys, what is this note? And where do we play it on the fretboard? Where do we play it on the fretboard? Samrat asked what kind of guitar this is. This is a Guild. This is a very, very expensive guitar. I have a student that actually traded me this guitar for a number of months of lessons. And it is one of my favorites. I love this guitar. Now, it looks cool, right? I don't really care so much about the flashy stuff. I just love the way it sounds, and it's great for the looper, too. Okay, guys, I'm going to take your questions here in just a moment. This is C. You can get this 3rd fret of the A, as well as 8th fret of the low E. We're going to do 2 more questions. I'm going to take your question right after we do 2 more of these, Ingy, and then everybody else start to get your questions in the chat now so that I can see them and I can answer them. So what note do we have here, and what are all the spots that we can play it? In 5, 4, 3, 2, my cat just knocked something down. There, he's going crazy. Open E, 5th fret of the B, and we can also grab this 9th fret of the G. All right, last question, guys. Last memorization question, and then I'm going to go on to your questions from me. How many music education videos do you have where the teacher is asking the students all the questions? I think that's just too cool. All right, guys. What do we have here? In 5, 4, 3, 2, open A, and 5th fret of the low E for this one. Okay, guys, let me put my guitar down here. Whew, that was a long session. Now let me go ahead and pop up your questions here. Again, one of the things that I'm trying to do with this channel to make sure that it is on the cutting edge of what's available is make sure that everything is live and you can ask me questions. So if you're watching the rerun, join in for the live so that you can get your questions in. You can interact with me directly, and definitely don't skip the questions if you're joining in live. But you know, it really comes down to I want to be here to answer the questions that crop up for my what I'm going to consider everyone my student that watches this channel regularly. And hopefully, a lot of you get the chance to become one of my private students. You know, I know it's not exactly the cheapest thing in the world to study with a music teacher one-on-one, but it is also very beneficial. So let's take a look at questions. So Ingy is asking if we can say all the notes are on the D strings are low notes and below are high notes. So, Ingy, that's kind of I would say they're middle notes. For our guitar, they're in the middle of the register. Um, and the reason I wouldn't really dictate it between strings is because our open D goes from here to here, right? So if we said these are all our low notes because they're on the D string, well, there's some overlap because here's our open G, and our open G goes from here to here. So then some of the notes on the open G, you'd be considering them high notes because they're on the open G, but low notes because they're on the G, and low notes because they're on the D. So it's not really equivalent. I would say you want to consider like the low end of our registers, probably this low E up to probably the C. And then the middle part of our register is this D, probably up to this D. And then the high end of our register is E up to E, right? And beyond. That's how I would consider it. I wouldn't differentiate it based off of just what string it's on. Oral Pal asked what software this is. I run the full version of Sibelius. You're looking at about $800 to get that software, but they do have a subscription plan. I think that's pretty cool, but I bought the full version a number of years ago. I love Sibelius, but the reason I love it so much is because I publish music books. You guys can check out my music books. And it's really a software designed for professionals. If you want just something to jot things down on, you can get their $40 version, which is I think Sibelius Notepad or something. That's good. Or another way to go is to just download my free sheet music template and write it out by hand. I think one of the best ways to learn is actually writing it out by hand first. The software, it's like there's extra stuff to the software, and you have to learn the software just as much as you have to learn actual notation. So I would start with the notation and then move to software at a later date. James Shackelford, he asked, why did you jump from the 5th position to the 9th? Wouldn't it be easier to go to the 7th and then the 10th? James, the reason I did that was because I didn't want to put too much overlap. So the 5th position, the index goes from the 5th to the 6th, or so to the 6th, 7th, and 8th. And then I didn't want there to be too much overlap. We're going to be doing a lot, like this is just the first episode in this series. So what I did is said, all right, 1st position, we get our pinky to the 4th fret. So that covers all those right there. And then 5th position is just the next up, right? And 5th goes from 5th to 8th. And then 9th goes 9th to 12th. So I just wanted to make sure we didn't do any overlap, just because, mostly because of the time restrictions. And yeah, basically it's all time restriction at that point. I don't know if I can live stream longer than 2 hours. I think I saw Adam Neely did a live stream for 5 hours, and he played the same melody for 5 hours. And I don't know why he did that. It just seems a little crazy. I mean, I like Adam Neely's a great teacher. You guys should check him out. There's almost nothing he's done that I have any issue with, but I don't know how he did that for 5 hours. So we will be going through other positions in future episodes, but I pretty much cash out right at about 2 hours. So Jeff says it's taken me over a year to figure out what my priorities are for learning. Yeah, totally, Jeff. I get it. And trust me, those priorities are going to shift and change, but your priorities look correct. Theory, yes. Capital Y, yes, please. The fretboard, chord voicings, you do need to do ear training as well. And one of the best ways to get this done, in terms of like what's going to be most effective, are these types of fretboard memorization sessions. These are really great, but there's one thing that's even better, and that's taking the music that you're playing and either analyzing it with a pencil and paper or trying to copy it out from memory with pencil and paper. Um, so yeah, and I can, Jeff, if you like, I'll post, and if you take a look at my community tab, I'll post up my video that I did, on Friday night. I do a live. I'm trying to do live composition on Friday nights for my channel, Spaceships Live. You guys may or may not like the music. It's stylistically very repetitive, and it's actually fairly simple. But I use my electric five-string cello and my guitar together with a looper, and it's a lot of fun. And it's really kind of intended for meditation music. If you guys want to check out some more of the complicated music that I play, check out some of my classical guitar performances on this channel. Um, I actually have a bigger appreciation for simplistic music than complicated music. They made me do a lot of complicated stuff in college, and I didn't like a lot of it. It kind of sounded like clown music to me. It's just a personal thing. Like I will take, I'll take Philip Glass over a Schoenberg any day. Um, so it looks like all the questions are in. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for joining in on this live stream. I had a lot of fun with it. This is the first 2 hour one that I've ever done. I'm gonna try and do this on, like probably every other Monday. Last Monday I did a music theory madness where everybody chimed in and won a prize. And actually one of my students won a prize, a cool mug, um, a coffee mug that I actually have a copy of at my office. I'm drinking out of my plain one today. But if you guys want to check out some cool coffee mugs, I got them at musicandguitarlessons.shop. You can also pick up my books there. If you become a dojo member at the Dojo Hero level, of course, you can get a free book every month in the mail. I'm writing one book a month, guys. One book, one music book a month. That's what I'm sticking to. I think I can do it. I think I can do it. Um, Colin in the UK just gave a great comment in the chat. And Colin, this is just perfect. This is just perfect. No one ever played less well for knowing more theory. Yes, capital Y, yes. And something else I want to point out, and if you are one of these people, please don't take this the wrong way, but this is just my personal opinion. Everybody that I've seen that says, oh, you don't need to know music theory. Everybody, every last person that has told me that was A, somebody that couldn't really play well themselves, and B, didn't know music theory. And everybody that I know that really knows music theory is like, oh yeah, it's great. So, like, if somebody tells you not to learn music theory, that's the moment you should stop listening to them about music. Period. And I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's David Grohl or whatever that guy's name is, because he can play drums and play guitar half good. Just because someone's famous does not mean that they're great at music. There are people out there that will tell you don't learn music theory. Ignore them. Ignore them. Ignore them. I'd say it 25 times if I could. So thank you, Colin, for that comment. I think that is a very, very, very good point. So we're now at 2 hours and 2 minutes. We made it, guys. Tomorrow is my dojo only stream. So if you're part of the dojo, you'll join in, for Musical Mornings, episode 19. We're going to be doing technique, sight reading, music theory quiz, all that good stuff. The dojo members seem to really like the Musical Mornings. Also, I just sent my next book to the printer. I'm going to be getting my copy in soon. It's going to be 100 examples on clapping rhythm. We're going to go through that. I'm going to do that as a pre-recorded video because it's 100 examples, and I just don't know if I have the energy to do it live. Once that video is published, the book will be available. But of course, my dojo members, you guys are going to get that book early in the mail before anybody else, and you're going to have a chance to look at it before the video comes out, as well as ask me about it in my upcoming announcement of Google Hangouts with my dojo members. So, guys, thank you so much for joining. This was a lot of fun, and I can't wait to see what comes up next. Happy practice, everyone. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, by the way, for the super chat. Very cool. Thank you so much, Jeff.